We should have a post show to this show. Dagan can do it.
I was going to say, go for it. I'm out.
Yeah. Blood. Hey, guts, yeah. Rock out, Soda. It's a Monday. I still haven't recovered from Wednesday night. Barely slept. Good Lord.
This is the last day of my time off.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that because I was just at this show in Boston on Wednesday. I don't know if you've heard of it. It was a little thing called Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
It was a good old grand fun time. And man, I just again very very little sleep since.
I didn't tell you this, but while you were sending me pictures from the event and stuff like that, I was at a ball game and I was showing them to my teammates. None of whom like watch wrestling. Maybe one or two had heard of AEW, and they're like, "Holy shit,
what is this?" Yeah,
yeah. The one that impressed them was the one you sent me of was it Matt Jackson on top of the cage,
climbing up the cage? Yeah,
doing about to do the Northern Lights. That was that's the one I showed them.
Yeah, man. There was a bed, a large board filled with thumbtacks, or not even thumbtacks, nails. There were thumbtacks. Yeah, there was broken glass.
Thumbtack raining.
thumbtack raining. I know. This is the spot you were kind of talking about here. These are the time. Look at that shot, man. That was,
you were what, 10th row?
No, it was like 4 rows. If you look at the hard cam here, I will try.
As usual, I couldn't see you, and once I figured out where approximately you were, I couldn't see you.
Yeah, I think I have the picture here. Let me pull it up.
The one from Rampage you sent me?
Well, there was one from Rampage. This one, if you see the double clothesline sign on the left, and that's me in the green shirt holding up the sign. So
I wonder if there's a shot of the audience without you holding a sign to see if I could figure it out.
Yeah, there's that one from Rampage. I'll pull that one up here too. But it's funny. I'll pull up the one I just showed you real quick again. So if you see that guy in the white shirt that's standing next to me with the double clothesline, he was on BTE this week.
Oh, really?
Those two guys were seat fillers. Yeah, they came up about halfway through the first match, and they were like, "Are these seats open?" I'm like, "Yeah, probably like $500 on StubHub or something." But yeah, have at it. Nobody sitting there. And I think they were seat fillers because, like, "Yeah, you guys filling some seats?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just chilling, man."
Cool.
So there you go. But yeah, here's you can see me. It's the green shirt that's the giveaway. So yeah, there's me with the Alvarez Fears pork chop sign.
That one made me laugh.
If you see the guy the giant man in the pink shirt, we were right next to that guy. So if you see the green AEW shirt on that side of the screen, that's if you go back and rewatch the show, you can spot me pretty easily that way. And there was a shot with me in it from BTE this week. That was kind of cool. Oh, hey, there I am.
Nice.
So there you go. 4 rows up on the hard cam, man. Those are worth every penny that I spent on those tickets.
I've done that once in my life, and that was all the way back in like 2010. It was Buffalo versus Vancouver. It was just after the Zach Cassian for Cody Hodgson trade. Tyler Myers was a rookie, and I remember sitting there, like, again, about 4 rows from the glass, and I'm watching, and Nathan Gerby, who is not a tall man, standing next to Tyler Myers, who is a very tall man, was quite the dynamic.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's just an incredible experience to witness live, and just being there with that crowd and everything. It was a really hot crowd in Boston. I think it was like right around 9,000 tickets sold for the show. It's like the Garden is like a 16,000 seat venue, kind of something like that, but it was all kind of on one side. Like they're not going to be able to sell those many tickets anyway unless you want to sit behind everything. Like for the first Arthur Ashe Stadium show they did, and for All Out at Wembley they're selling those seats behind the stage there. But yeah, no, it was awesome, and got to see the Rampage. Got to see it, Rampage show. It pays off to live in the Northeast, man. I'm telling you, we get all the crazy good shows. But yeah, so
because of the Northeast market, like that's traditionally been WWE's market, which makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it's a big market.
Yeah, and so they need to definitely do a big show like this, Blood and Guts, for the Boston debut. But yeah, I got the vlog up on the channel. The shorts have been awesome. I love like how many views we've been getting on those shorts, and I took a video of Kenny Omega's promo after they went off the air too, which was posted on the Wrestling Observer, which was really kind of cool to see.
Yeah, quite the week.
Yeah, man, it's been a hot week for So-Dagan Wrestling here,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty hyped that we're kind of, getting off the ground running. I mean, we're still low in subscriber count, and nobody really watches the live shows or anything yet either. But I'm happy. Yeah, I think it's just me, but I'm watching myself. I was just like, but it was a great time. Did you so you watched the show, I assume?
Yeah. So what happened was, I was watching live, but my ball game starts when Dynamite ends. But I knew I wanted to leave when I didn't want to miss any Blood and Guts, so I ended up missing the last hour of the show. I ended up watching it the next day. So
I go back and rewatch it
live. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I did, because my lord, was that the ending was a little interesting. Like, how did it come off in the crowd for you? Because they told us on commentary at the end that it was Moxley that tapped.
Yeah, I don't think we really. No, I thought that they had just choked Yuta out unconscious. I don't think the crowd realized that it was Moxley submitting on behalf of Yuta. But it was still like, it's the finish. That's the end of the match.
Either way would have been good. But I like the added layer that it was Moxley that did it. I
do too, because it's now at the point where he kind of cares about this kid.
Yeah,
like
and then with the handshake now. Like, I mean, they're probably going to start going back to being face.
Well, the handshake wasn't shown on TV, so we're not sure about that yet. I would say watch Dynamite this week to really tell, because they do have a match, but
that was
it was a little weird. There was a couple little weird things in the match, but overall, I thought it was, and this might be a little attendance bias, but I thought it was easily the best Blood and Guts match that they've put on so far.
I wouldn't argue with that for sure.
You wouldn't? Or you
I wouldn't.
Wouldn't, yeah.
Coming out of everything, like, there was always something weird coming out of it. Like the first one, Jericho and the mattresses.
One of the boxes or whatever.
And last year was, holy shit, Santana got really hurt, sort of thing.
Yeah.
This year, it was just nothing. It went off.
No injuries. I know.
And so, I agree with you. It is easily the best one.
Even Kota Ibushi didn't get hurt.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, but he didn't really do anything.
That's true. They kind of had to throw some bubble wrap on him, I think, for this match. Except, now I don't know if you didn't see this, because it was not. It was
I saw the video. I did see the
video. After the promo that Kenny Omega cut, which you can see on Wrestling Observer website. They were all exiting the steel cage, and Kota Ibushi decided he would take a back bump into the thumbtacks and roll around a bit, because I guess he felt left out, that he didn't have a bunch of stuff sticking out of his back. So that guy's a fucking maniac.
There was a lot of great spots in this match. Like, it wasn't for the weak at heart for sure.
No, if you're squeamish, don't watch this match.
Yeah.
I haven't put an age restriction on our vlog that we put up, because it was like, man, there was some violent shit. There's also us like smoking weed, and there's many F-bombs. And
there you are. I finally found your.
There you go. It's pretty easy to see us, because we were that close.
Now that I know what to look for, what shirt, because that's true. At the time live, I didn't know you were wearing your breakdown until you sent me the vlog. But now I see it. Fuck, man, those are good seats.
Yeah, they really were. Like, I lucked out getting those during the pre-sale, because there wasn't like that much of a demand for the tickets initially.
Yeah,
because it was just advertised as AEW Dynamite at the TD Garden, and I'm like, I don't know, like, big show debuting at the Garden seems like it would make sense. So I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to try to get the best seats possible right as they go on sale. And so I'm very lucky that I managed to scoop up those seats.
When was that pre-sale? Like, just on, because I'm curious as to when into the Blackpool Combat Club storyline that was. When was the pre-sale?
I don't know. I can find out if I sift through my email here. But what's nice about AEW is they do the pre-sale. Sorry, I'm just looking up here. They do the pre-sale the day before the actual advertised on sale thing.
I've
So
seen that many times with rock concerts.
yeah, so it'll be like all the best seats will get sold on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Before the actual advertised thing. I'm gonna see. So AEW Dynamite. Let's see. Yeah, know before you go. Why can't I find it here? This is annoying. I hate Gmail sometimes. It's so hard to find. Let's see.
AEW Boston.
Yeah, so AEW Dynamite. Let's see. Here, I'm gonna try something else. Oh, why is this not working? God damn it. Live on in front of one person, everybody.
2 now.
I'm gonna edit this out later. We can fix it in post.
Yeah.
But that is a good question. I'm just fucking Gmail. Like so annoying.
Yeah, because I'm curious if it was like the announcement of Blood and Guts that spiked it, or when people started realizing. Like, I'm really curious.
Yeah. AEW Rampage. No, what the? I give up, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Just look up AEW TD Garden tickets on sale, and you might be able to find it. Tickets on sale. Let's see. Probably easier to find, isn't it? Update on ticket sales for. Oh no, that's from. Just so annoying. Let's see. So to talk about something while I do this, any other comments from Blood and Guts? Okay, here we go. May 11th. May 11th.
Okay, so all right, so they were pretty decently into the storyline.
Yeah, no, it was in there. There was like maybe a glimmer that they might do it, but they're also doing this big Canada tour. So
Yeah,
it was like, they'll probably just do Blood and Guts in Canada. Canada's getting all the good shows. Forbidden Door, and they're going to be in Montreal later this year, but yet still no Vancouver. No Vancouver AEW show yet. Come on, guys.
But what can you do?
It's an untapped market. I keep saying
totally.
it.
Like, that's the thing people don't realize. Like, Canada used to be a pretty good wrestling market.
Yeah.
But
any other final thoughts on Blood and Guts, or did you get to watch?
Great show overall.
Yeah. Did you get to watch the Royal Rampage?
No, I honestly, I haven't watched the Rampage in a really long time. That's one of the ones where I'm like, I'm good with missing.
Well, this week was fun because it had the Royal Rampage, which is like your their equivalent of the Royal Rumble almost, or it's not the traditional battle royale where the match starts and everybody's out there already. They actually start with like 4 guys, and then there's guys come out in increments. And one of those guys was Minoru Suzuki, which was an awesome surprise for us.
I made a video. He was not announced, right?
No, he was not. It's funny because they announced him after Wednesday, leading up to Rampage airing. Like they put him in a couple clips and on the graphic and everything, but no, the audience said no. The crowd it was a total surprise that Minoru Suzuki was there, which was really cool because like most of the New Japan guys are off doing the G1 right now, but Suzuki hasn't done the G1 in a while. So to have him there was pretty cool. Yeah, no, it was a fun Rampage as well. Definitely worth the price of admission. But we do have some other AEW news. This is kind of recent. Like this is within the last hour or so. Yes, it's 6:15, about 20 minutes before we went on the air.
Definitely missed.
I'll go here. X.com. Oh wait, no, wait, whoa, no, that's the wrong X there. Let's pull up the other X as I do this live producing on the fly. Here we go, guys.
I do not
breaking news.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Looks like
he's re-signed.
Looks like it.
Good. Okay. Cool.
Based on this,
right here. I'm AEW Barrels.
Yeah. No, he's re-signed. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're interested.
Yes, they were. But this is the statement here. I started a new chapter in my personal and professional career. People doubted I could make it. Today, I want to say that I'm 100% AEW. Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you, fans and my LFI brothers. We can now rule the wrestling world. So there you go. Looks like Rush signed a long-term, potentially, deal with AEW. I know that he was, I think, working under kind of a free agent sort of deal the last year or so.
Paper play sort of thing. Like,
or that, I mean, Although he's been there for about a year now, so he might have signed a 1-year deal and has now re-upped that to a 3, I guess, potentially. But yeah, no, that's great to see. I like Roosh a lot. I think he's got some mega star potential, and I want to see him they haven't done like a lot with him yet, and I feel like there's potential for them to like do some really cool shit. Maybe he's the one to beat Orange Cassidy finally. Like, I could see that happening. The international title, he could maybe defend it in Mexico or something. I don't know, but
yeah, you're right on the superstar potential. He's gonna, he will. I feel he's gonna sign with WWE eventually, and he's gonna
maybe.
And if he does, he's gonna be the one they've been looking for to replace Rey Mysterio. It's him. It's not Santos Escobar. I love Santos Escobar. It's not him. It's Roosh.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the swagger. He's got the like charisma thing. I mean, he's been kind of
moves, literally.
He's got the moves. He's very physical competitor. Yeah. Very hard hitter, that kind of thing. But also with the lucha stuff in there.
He's what they're looking for. The next big Latin WWE superstar. So this is good. Give him a little bit more seasoning in the North American, on the big stage, North America, and then go to the bigger stage.
Yeah.
Keeping the name Roosh.
No, probably not if he goes to the other company. But as of now, I mean, it seems like he's pretty well suited to stick with AEW for a bit. So they're going to have that Latino star that WWE's been looking for. He's going to be in AEW.
Yeah.
So, but that'll be kind of fun to watch. Again, I think that he has, definitely championship potential. He's a former Ring of Honor champion. He had a little bit of a run there, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see kind of if they do anything of him. Speaking of Ring of Honor, there was a Ring of Honor pay-per-view this past weekend as well.
I haven't seen it yet.
You've not seen it yet. Okay. It was Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah.
And
so you know that.
There were some big matches on the show. One of them, the main event, first time this has ever happened, where the women have main evented a Ring of Honor show or big pay-per-view.
Yep.
And that was, of course, Athena defending her Ring of Honor women's title against Willow. And this match was awesome. It really was. It was.
I was going to ask if you did it.
It was on par with like the Charlotte and Rhea match from WrestleMania, I would say. And it nearly got there. I think if Willow had won, if she had fought back at the end and won the title, that would have put it over the edge for me as like probably my top women's match of the year. As of right now, because of that one little thing, and because I think Rhea winning at Mania was absolutely the right way to go, I still have that match just like a hair above this match. But I think this was like, again, on par with being potentially the best women's match of the year. Ian Riccaboni said it was the best, the greatest women's Ring of Honor match he's ever seen, which I don't know if I would argue with that, because the Ring of Honor women's division hasn't really ever been much of anything.
So you're saying the bar wasn't high.
It was not set very high. So I think this really kind of finally set that bar. And it kind of feels like Ring of Honor's women's division is being booked even more above AEW's right now. Because like you compare it, okay, main event, women main eventing the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. What did we get on AEW Blood and Guts? We got Britt Baker came out for 1 minute and squashed a jobber.
Yeah,
I love Britt Baker, but it just the women's division on AEW has been kind of falling flat a bit recently, and maybe that's because Jamie Hayter's gone. They haven't really been using Sheeta. They have a really good roster now. It's miles above what it was like maybe a year ago. You got like Taya Valkyrie in there now, and Saraya, and I don't know where the fuck Serena Deeb has been, but it would be great to see her come back. But you got
understand why at this point. Like, I mean, honestly, nobody really cares about Rampage. I'm sorry, nobody cares. Make it the women. Like, I am starting to agree with the notion. Make that the women's show.
An all women's show, yeah.
Show. Give them an hour. Give them the fucking platform to show the world what they can do.
If you look at WWE and their ratings recently, like some of the top rated segments that
Rhea Ripley
involve Roman Reigns are all women's segments. Not just Rhea Ripley, but like the stuff going on with Becky Lynch and Io Sky and like.
True.
So it's very
hashtag thank you Trish.
Very important, I think, for AEW to really start pushing the women's division. And I was kind of saying this earlier, that if they're able to get later in the year, if they're able to get both the current Impact Knockouts champion Trinity who I guess is only there till like the end of the summer.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be a bit of a short reign for her, but a reign nonetheless. And of course, the former Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. If they're able to get both of them, now we're talking. Now the AEW women's division's really, I think, people are going to be talking about it. It's going to be put on the map. And if that alongside that comes better booking and more of a push for some of these ladies, which again, I think it's miles better than what it was like a year or two ago. But there's still room for improvement. And I think Mercedes and Trinity would be a massive boost to that.
And I would argue, like, WWE, in my opinion, is not much better, because one of the things I think they're lacking, yes, they have the storyline going on with Trish and Becky right now, but is a high-profile storyline with their very talented women's roster that does not revolve around the title.
It doesn't revolve around the title, and it doesn't revolve around Charlotte Flair.
And that's the thing. I would like to see Charlotte in one of those types of feuds.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's one of those people, like, she's outgrown the title,
She has, for sure, at this point. And it's always annoying that anytime she comes back and they give her a push, it also has to involve her winning the belt. Like, stop it. She doesn't need, I mean, yes, eventually she's probably going to break her dad's reign, but like, okay, we get to have her do some other stuff as well.
Yeah, and like I've always said, the reason why her doing it is never going to be special is because her dad did it in like 30 years, whereas she did it in a 10. It's just like, and a lot of them were a lot of back and forth, and it's just like there wasn't time to breathe with a lot of them. So to me, it's not as impressive. The number is, of course, but when we actually look at it, it's not as impressive.
But kind of bringing things back to what we were originally talking about with Ring of Honor, I'm liking where they're headed with the women's division.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor on its own is kind of like, I mean, you mentioned Rampage, that nobody cares about Rampage. Really, nobody cares about Ring of Honor right now. Like, it's just like
I don't watch it.
There's a pay-per-view that comes up every few months or so, and it's like, oh, there's a Ring of Honor pay-per-view on. Like, maybe let's watch that. But I think someone like you is not going to go out of your way to watch the Ring of Honor show. Where someone like me, it's a hardcore, is going to watch the
partially because I can't afford right now another streaming service.
Honor Club, another $15 a month. Yeah, it's like for anybody. And the shows are kind of long. It's like an hour and a half to 2 hours every week. Like, that's so much wrestling to watch.
It doesn't bother me because it will be on streaming and I can watch it as whenever I want, right?
Yeah.
There's another pre-tapes or whatever. And also the back catalog would be pretty nice.
But, it does feel like Honor Club is like, it's not a must get right now. You know what I mean? And
like, I have Impact Plus. But... Right.
And it's also, I don't think necessarily have to watch the TV in order to enjoy the pay-per-view. I know, I'm curious on that. So my buddy Tyler, who was just at Boston with, he watched this Ring of Honor show, but he has not been watching the TV. You didn't watch the show, Soda, but I have been watching the TV and I watched the pay-per-view. So I'm kind of curious to get a perspective on that. So I'm actually gonna try something out here. I'm gonna call Tyler and I'm gonna put him on.
I am definitely going to seek out watching that Willow and Athena match, just because the hype is strong.
Yes, if you watch anything on that show, you definitely need to watch that Willow Athena.
And I would gladly watch Claudio and Pac. Although, like, as much as I'm happy that
Hello, we have a phone call, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo,
it's Tyler. What's going on, Tyler?
Not much, man.
Can the listeners hear Tyler? Can you hear Tyler, Soda?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
Okay, awesome. I got you on the speakerphone, and I got you right next to my mic here. So I wanted to kind of get your opinion on something here, Tyler. You watched the Ring of Honor pay-per-view this past weekend, Death Before Dishonor, but you have not been watching the TV. Do you feel like right now Ring of Honor as a product is worth buying $15 a month to watch basically what has become AEW Dark?
No, of course not.
There you go.
What happened on the show?
And do you also feel like you have to watch the Ring of Honor show every week in order to like kind of get what's going on in the pay-per-view? Or do you feel like they did a good enough job putting some of that stuff in the video packages and just watch the pay-per-view on its own?
Well, they didn't need to put anything in the video package other than the Dark Order stuff. Nothing's happened. All the builds for the main event happened
on Dynamite. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it feels like there's really not much there for Ring of Honor right now. As much as Tony Khan might want to push it that way, it doesn't, unless you want to like go back and watch a bunch of old Ring of Honor shows like Soda was just saying. Like, you don't really need to spend the $15 a month to get the Honor Club. Like, you can just kind of watch the pay-per-views. At this point, maybe it'll be different a year from now, but that's kind of what it's at right at this current time.
Yeah, they're gonna need some different stars though, because who's on the show that you don't see weekly on Dynamite? Is it who on
Dalton Castle? Yeah,
also an AEW star.
Just Dalton Castle's the only one I can think of really, or like Shane Taylor. You know, Athena. Soda just mentioned Athena, but even she's like been on AEW once in a while.
Yeah, but very rarely in her title reign. Very rare.
I mean, I think you do make a good point. I was mentioning this to Tyler earlier that like, yes, so Ring of Honor does have it's not a complete meaningless show. They have this storyline with Stu Grayson leaving the Dark Order and joining Vincent and Dutch.
Yeah,
that's like been kind of the main storyline that's been playing out on the Ring of Honor TV. Everything else other than that has just been kind of matches. They're just like random jobber squashes or just random matches. And then you have Athena, who's been having this reign, but a lot of that has been her just beating up jobbers on a weekly basis. So, like, what?
Since the show we went to live.
Yeah, so
Ring of Honor Battle of the Belt show.
That show actually did feel like it was kind of like okay, somewhat important, but I think that also had to do with the fact that like they had just started Ring of Honor. Like anytime any of these shows just start, you know, like I think Collision's going to be an exception because they definitely feel like, oh, that's so different than Dynamite.
That needs to definitely be booked differently.
It needs to be booked differently, right? So
it is booked differently, like,
and it absolutely is. But like, if you know, these shows like Rampage, right? The first couple weeks, it was like there's a big TNA or Impact title match with Kenny Omega and Christian Cage, right? Or there's like, you know, Britt Baker defending the belt. Like it was or CM Punk debuting. That was on fucking Rampage. You know, and now Rampage is just kind of like there every week.
Basically, Collision now fills that spot because Rampage will go live before a pay-per-view.
I'm sorry, Tyler can't hear Soda on the phone, but yeah, but Soda just mentioned that Collision is just kind of a bit different, right?
Well, no, what I was saying was Collision is taking.
I don't want to speak over.
It's taken the place of Rampage. Of
because Rampage would go live, like it was the go home show.
Sort of, but I kind of feel like Collision's a completely different brand.
It kind of is. We were talking about this earlier.
What I meant was the purpose.
Still feels like the Dynamite's third hour, the third unnecessary hour of Dynamite, like how Raw has a third unnecessary hour.
Right.
Most people tune out before the last hour of Raw. That's what Rampage is that last extra hour. But Collision to me doesn't feel like Rampage. It feels like a completely different.
Feels like a different company almost.
It's like a different company.
Yeah.
Use it, AEW it doesn't feel very different from Ring of Honor in that sense. And that it's like a different feel, but it's just using AEW guys.
Right. It's like these guys look familiar, but the booking is so drastically different that it's just. It's in its own world almost, but
Darby Allin seemed like a different person
this week. Yeah, he didn't have a skateboard. He was like spitting. He was doing the Triple H like spitting water thing, referring to CM Punk as his best friend. It's like, no, dude, you are your real good friend, CM Punk. I thought your only friend was Sting. You don't have any fucking friends, you geek. Yeah. I feel like since me and Tyler got to meet Darby Allin, it's safe for me to call him a geek on this show.
Nice.
Because I feel some kind of personal connection with him. All right, Tyler. Well, thanks for calling in, man. I think you kind of confirmed what I sort of thought, which is that you don't have to really watch Ring of Honor. You should watch Collision if you want something drastically different, but you definitely don't. I don't think at this point you have to watch either Rampage or Ring of Honor. Those shows are kind of like Collision has stories, right. Yeah, but neither Rampage nor Ring of Honor really does. So
fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Later.
Yeah, see you. But yeah, there you go. I'm definitely in agreement with Tyler on pretty much.
I just want to elaborate on my point because I don't think Tyler, I don't think it came across. What I meant by Collision has basically taken over from Rampage. Is Rampage used to go live before the big shows. It was the go home show.
Yeah.
But now Collision has taken that spot, so Rampage
Sure.
is just there. That's
Rampage
kind of
is just
where-
there. So that
that's
extra
more
hour
like-
that they tape after Dynamite, if you want to stay around and watch it, great. If you want to go home and beat the traffic, go
Yeah.
for it. You
And
know,
that's kind of more what I had meant. And
more room for me to hold my signs if you leave early.
more room for you to hold your signs, and that's why I say make it the women's show, because that way you will actually have people will have a reason to stay. People will have a reason to watch because it's different. There's really never been a mainstream women's wrestling show since, dare I say it, Glow.
Glow, yeah,
Glow.
yeah. I would like to see it. I mean, that's what everybody says. Like, okay, WWE's women's division is miles above AEW and has been for a while, and I would almost tend to agree with that. But I feel like them making a point to because remember WWE had that all women's pay-per-view years ago, and it was fucking awesome.
One of the DVDs I bought.
It was so great. And it was like, oh, cool. They'll do this every year. And then they never did it again.
And
so
this could the same thing.
So AEW, this is their chance to maybe be like, okay, let's do that. Because even like Impact has an all women's pay-per-view every year. But no, of course, nobody watches it because it's Impact. So
yeah. And the NWA did the same thing, which was partially Nick Aldis and Mickey James's beef. Was they did the one pay-per-view when they could have done more.
Yeah. So AEW, I think, okay, let's establish a new women's show with Rampage. Maybe call it something else. Or you could even still call it Rampage. Kick it off with a big, Sunday pay-per-view. The rumor is that AEW is going to be moving to 12 pay-per-views next year. We haven't talked about that yet. That does feel like, okay, so I'm kind of, I have mixed feelings on this because at number one, it's like, Impact has 12 pay-per-views a year, and it's like, it feels like a chore to watch some of these because some of them are so filler. But if they do it where they move some of these big television events to pay-per-view, so let's say Blood and Guts on a Sunday as opposed to the Wednesday Dynamite, or Arthur Ashe Stadium Grand Slam, that's a Sunday pay-per-view and not a Wednesday, Dynamite thing. So just kind of moving things around a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, but I like those special because those big AEW shows, Dynamite shows,
feel like a big deal.
They feel like a big deal, and if it's just it's just another pay-per-view, then I don't really know. But my point is that they could have one of those 12 pay-per-views could be an all women pay-per-view every year, and that would be really cool. So
it's not that I give me as much wrestling as possible. That's not the issue. It's the fact I don't have the $50 every month to spend.
Well, it kind of is the issue when you're someone like me or Dave Meltzer wants to watch all of it.
Yeah,
I've watched like almost all of the G1 so far. I watched Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I attended the Blood and Guts live. I basically Impact. I've been watching everything but WWE. So I eat it up. But when you keep giving me more to watch, it's like, oh, okay, all right, I've had enough. I had the steak and the French fries and the salad and the soup, and now you're giving me a hot fudge sundae. Okay, calm down. I can only eat so much, But there you go. So, that's just kind of where my head is at right now on that. But let's see. So we talked about Blood and Guts. We talked about Ring of Honor a little bit. We mentioned Collision earlier. There was a big angle on Collision this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys all watched it, but after the Acclaimed got absolutely slaughtered by the House of Black on Collision, Billy Gunn took the pin and was sort of sitting there afterwards. And it's interesting because there was a moment on Wednesday, or it aired on Friday, but during the Rampage match at the end, where Billy Gunn just kind of, the Acclaim starts to celebrate, and he's just sitting there on the apron, just kind of out of breath, doing the kind of old man gimmick where he's just he looks really old and really tired,
He's not.
Even though he's kind of not. I mean, he's my dad's age. My dad's not out there doing this. But
see, he's in better shape now than he was in his prime.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I made a note of that on Wednesday. I was like, man, he looks like he's sitting there. He looks really tired or something. I don't know what's going on with Billy Gunn. And then, interestingly enough, they did this angle on Saturday where after he takes the pin, he's sitting there and he starts, taking off the boots. sort of indicating that he might be done. And that's usually somebody sort of announcing their retirement. That's the sort of the customary symbolic way of going about it. But crowd still chanting, "You still got it," and he's sitting there. He's getting visibly emotional and everything. And he walks. The Acclaimed are just kind of standing there outside the ring, like, just what is going on here? And then as he's exiting, he sort of just brushes them off. He doesn't really acknowledge them or anything. So this all kind of stemmed from this moment with Aleister, or with Malachi Black.
I was going to mention that. Like, didn't one of the House of Black say something to him?
He's whispering something into his ear, and you can't really make out what it is. And I don't know if maybe this is one of those, another one of those weird, like, spooky angles. Like, is Billy Gunn was this not like necessarily Billy Gunn retiring, but this was Daddy Ass retiring, and then he's going to come back as some weird dark version of Billy Gunn? That sounds stupid to me. Like, I don't really want to see that. So if it's him retiring, I mean, that's one thing. Maybe he has one final match at All Out or something. But why? Like, you're still, you're old. You're 60 years old, but you can still fucking go. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's
I have mixed feelings,
especially when you invoke something as, well, I don't want to say as time honored, because I haven't seen it as that much, but something that is deemed as important as leaving your boots in the ring, because that's what Triple H did when basically announced his retirement.
Remember Cody tried to do that and it also involving Malachi Black. Yeah. It was the fake retirement angle.
Yeah, it was like, why the hell would you do that? Like,
why?
The Undertaker was a little believable at that time, but then he came back the next year anyways. But yeah, like, when Triple H did it, like, for me,
that was very final.
That was very final, and it was an emotional thing, because he was, for all intents and purposes, my favorite wrestler of all time.
Oh, he's one of the greatest of all time.
He's one of the greats, despite what a lot of people say. Because of his, who he's married to. I'm like, look at Andy.
Yeah.
Look at Andy territory in the old days, asshole. Anyways. So it's a little, I don't know. For me, I'm not normally. I'm like, oh, it's all cool for me. But that one though, it's a little like, the
Billy Gunn one has some vibes of the Cody one, just based on. Bit. If it wasn't for the weird moment with Malachi Black, I would be saying, oh, this might actually be it for Billy Gunn. But I don't know, man. Like, it feels like one of these weird gimmicked retirement ceremonies, which I'm not a big fan of it either. Like,
unless it's done well, like Mark Henry years ago,
right?
Like, that's the gold standard.
I think Collision overall this week, I wasn't feeling it, man. Like, it was very weird. It felt like watching Raw, and I want to watch AEW to feel like I'm watching AEW, even if it is drastically different. Then, like, Collision being different than Dynamite, I think is a good thing. Yeah, because just doesn't feel like watching 4 hours in a row every week. But
look who's actually helping out in creative with Collision. It's people that have been in WWE.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's why probably we're seeing a little bit more of that influence in there, because Daniel Bryan was Bryan Danielson. God damn it!
Same thing. Damn it! At this point,
they've had like a good decade in WWE, so they know how that works, and they know why it works, and like, it makes a little bit more sense. Yeah.
It's a little, and that's fine. Like, I don't mind it feeling a little bit like WWE here and
but
there,
not too much.
But this week felt too much, and I don't know if it was also because, like, I had just been to Blood and Guts Live. I watched the Ring of Honor show. I watched a whole bunch of the G1, and then I turn on Collision, and it's like, you're not feeling it. I maybe a little spoiled, maybe a little oversaturated with wrestling for the week, but I was not a big fan of worst Collision ever, Soda, which is hilarious considering it's like 5th or 6th episode ever.
Yeah,
but I can do that. That would be my rating for this week, but it is what it is. I thought last week was fucking awesome with that FTR, and we haven't talked about that yet. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold 2 out of 3 falls match.
Banger of a fucking match, man.
Wow.
58 minutes.
Match of the year contender for me. Which,
no joke, I was on my computer doing some shit. Didn't even notice it went an hour.
It flew by. Completely flew by.
Yeah.
So
CM Punk was right when he's like, there's something with these guys, with Juice and Jay White.
So with that being said, that to me is a match of the year contender, and I thought it would be fun to sort of end the show. We're sort of in the middle of the year, which is crazy to say. We're actually more than halfway through 2023 at this point. It's just blows my mind. It's flown by so fast. But I thought it would be fun to do a not quite a top 10, but a top 5. So we're going to do our top 5 favorite matches, or just doesn't have to be favorite, even if it's like, oh, I like this match more than this match. Top 5 matches of 2023 so far. It's,
are we doing are we actually ranking them, or is just our 5 favorites so far?
I would say just top 5 matches of the year so far for you. Doesn't have to necessarily be, that's just kind of how I like to do the list. But it's easy for me to do my top 5. So I'm thinking I'll do my top 5. I'll go start from 5 to 1, and then I'll pass it over to you, and you can do your top 5 from 5 to 1. So at number 5, I have Blood and Guts, the most recent match that I just saw. Maybe it's recency bias, maybe it's a little attendance bias, but it easily comes in my top 5 right now. Just edging out, I'll give you my other couple honorable mentions. These will probably both end up in my top 10 when all said and done, but the Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley match from WrestleMania and the Athena versus Willow match from the most recent Ring of Honor show. Those are definitely my top 2 women's matches of the year so far. And it would be like probably a number 6 and number 7 if we were doing it by top 10. So that's my number 5, Blood and Guts. And then at number 4, I have that FTR versus Bullet Club 2 out of 3 falls match that we just talked about from Collision. I have that ranked just a tiny hair's little sliver behind Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos from WrestleMania. That is my number. Where are we up to now? Number 3. So that's my number 3 match of the year. And then easily number 1 and number 2 for me. Not quite sure in which order yet. I think I'd probably say number 2, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega from the Tokyo Dome, Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th. And then number 1, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay from Forbidden Door. Those are my top 5 with a couple honorable mentions as well. But what are your top? Oh, another honorable mention I'll throw out there would be that Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Gunther match from, was that WrestleMania as well? Or was that SummerSlam? Mania, yeah. So that would be like probably number 8, number 7, or number 8 at this point. So, man, my top 10's filling up fast. It's going to be a fun list to do at the end of the year to see which matches potentially edge out some of the ones that are currently on my list. But what do you have for your top 5? So you can throw a couple honorable mentions in there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going to say my honorable mentions right off the bat. Blood and Guts, the Mania tag match, and MJF versus Bryan Danielson, actually.
Oh, that's another good one. Another great match.
Okay, so I have at number 5, the Mania Triple Threat. It's anytime that you put a combination of those 3 guys in there, it's a fucking
magic. Yes.
The banger.
So is it? It's going to be Gunther and McIntyre at SummerSlam, right? Singles. I can't wait for that one.
And a lot of people are calling for Drew to be the one to throw him. I'm like, whatever, just give me a good match.
Yeah, exactly.
At number 4, I have Bad Bunny and Damian Priest from Backlash. If you have,
still haven't seen it.
Seriously, go watch it. That's one. The match was really good, but it's another one of those magic moments where the crowd adds to it.
Yes.
Like, fucking tenfold. Everything about that match was special. That's good. I wouldn't be surprised on a lot of wrestling channels. You see this match in the top 10 for the vast amount of them. So go check that out. Number 3, I have Rhea and Charlotte from WrestleMania.
Still my women's match of the year so far.
Same. Yeah, and I haven't seen the Athena and Willow one yet, but it is a must watch.
Definitely.
Number 2, I have Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay 2.
Okay, Forbidden Door, number 2.
Sorry, Steve.
Zinte. It's so funny because, like, I think the last couple times we've done a top 10 list, like, your number 1 has been my number 2, and my number 1 has been your number 2. Like, we kind of have the same number 1 and 2, but just in reverse.
The only reason this is at number 2 and not number 1 is because I'm still dumbfounded by the Don Callis of it all in the booking of it.
Oh, yeah, not getting tossed, and then he comes back, and they're like, whatever.
fine, but
Yeah.
the referee's like, yeah, whatever. It's just like I agree with Bully Ray on this one. Then why kick him out in the first place?
It's fair.
So that is the only thing. And so number one is still the first match because to me, that is perfection, and like they said, that was even the best of what they could do. And Kenny in the ring, number two is better, but because it had the weird booking decision, it brought it down a little bit. Whereas this one, I cannot say anything bad about this match. It's very rare where I'm sitting there and I'm watching wrestling and I get sucked in like a fan. Like I legit thought
some of the greatest wrestling I've ever seen. How is that possible? I've been watching my whole life.
When fucking Kenny's bashing his head on the table, I thought he was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting there going, holy shit, somebody stop the match. Like it's gonna be a hard fucking sell for me for that to not be my number one at the end of the year.
Well, unless I think there's a very good chance of this. Number 3 at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance that we're going to be talking about that as number 1 through 3, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Like that's how fucking good these guys are. They're like
last year we had the FTR Briscoe trilogy, and we thought we were spoiled. And this year we're getting potentially the Ospreay
Omega trilogy. Oh my god!
What are we going to get
spoiled.
next year?
Holy shit!
What are we going to get next year?
Hopefully not Cody versus Roman trilogy. We don't need.
No, but I meant I don't see WWE doing that. I'm talking
like an AEW feud.
Yeah, I don't see WWE doing that.
Maybe something involving MJF if he's still.
Totally. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards him staying.
Yeah, I honestly I know this is kind of. I've heard other people say this as well, and it's just speculation. And somebody like Brian Alvarez would be like, "There's no fucking way," but I wouldn't be surprised if he added an extension to his deal where he's now signed till 2026 or something, because this whole and they're going to get back around to it after he turns on Cole, which is inevitable.
Oh yeah.
They're going to come back around to the, bidding war of 2024. And I still have the belt and I might hijack it and bring it to the other place kind of thing.
After Punk goes,
yeah. So
that could happen.
I think they wouldn't be doing that angle if he wasn't re-signed for longer.
Yeah.
But if you're anybody with a calendar, Soda, and you look at how the year is going to play out, December 27th is the final AEW Dynamite of 2023.
Let me guess, you're going to it as well.
I don't know. So far in advance, I don't know. But that would be the final Dynamite of the year. And I don't know what the actual date is for MJF's contract. I think it's sometime in January, but not necessarily January 1st. But if they do the angle like it's January 1st, maybe that's a way that they do that. That's usually New Year's Smash, I think, is the show. So if there's a New Year's Smash, I was thinking about this recently on December 27th, where you have the final chance for somebody to dethrone MJF, and if he doesn't win, then MJF's going to scamper off to WWE with the title kind of thing. And then it's whatever. And then he comes back the following week on, Dynamite or something.
Basically Money in the Bank 2011.
Yes.
Is basically what it is. And one of the cool things that I like about that is this is actual legit.
Oh, wait a minute.
Signed his extension. Punk signed his extension that day. His contract, that whole thing was legit. So I would love to see them do that, but in front of the camera with MJF.
This one's potentially not as much. But actually, different story. December 30th. It's 2 days before the New Year's. That's a Saturday, so that would be the Collision show.
That would be the one to do it at.
Well, that's the one to do it at, would be that Collision. Especially if it's Punk. I don't think Punk beating MJF again for the belt. I don't know. But if you're gonna do it, maybe you do that in Chicago, December 30th. They're back in Chicago.
Yeah.
Normally it's the one right before Thanksgiving that they do in Chicago, but who knows this year with Punk back and plans maybe being changed. Who knows? So just something to keep your eye on. Just something to keep your eye on in the future.
Yeah.
But there we go, everybody. I think that's pretty much all I got for today. You got anything else, Soda, before we get out of here?
Not particularly, but I do want to ask, what was Alvarez's reaction to your sign? I've been meaning to ask you that.
So he didn't say
Did he
anything
acknowledge
on
it?
Twitter. He kind of no-sold it on Twitter. I put a post out there, and a couple of his buddies like Craig and Sean commented on it and said, "Oh, that's great work, Dagan thing." But if you're on Threads, ladies and gentlemen, this is the new thing. No, not a lot of people on there right now, but it's like, hey, if you get into the party early, you get special access. So his so it aired at 10 p.m. Eastern or whatever, and shortly after that, Brian put a post on Threads that says, don't like them pork chops.
Nice. So big.
I think he saw it. I think he claims he doesn't watch Rampage, but they had like Nick Wayne in the Battle Royale, so I don't know, maybe that was enough to get him to tune in.
What is the story with the pork chops? Because I remember I don't watch Wrestling Observer Live. I'm such a noob when it comes to it.
So if you subscribe to the Brian and Vinny show on the Wrestling Observer, they do a live show 3 times a week, and Brian, I think there was like they do a Q&A usually every week, and somebody asked like, what would be the last meal that you would want if you're on death row? And somebody in the comments said pork chops, and Brian was like, pork chops? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, he goes on this rant about pork chops. Like, what, you wouldn't want a fucking steak or something? But somebody else made a good point that, like, I don't know, you could find a pretty fucking great pork chop that's as good as a steak.
Just fucking put garlic
there,
salt on it and throw it on the barbecue. You're good.
Yeah. I'm all about them pork chops, man. I don't know what the fuck, Brian.
I'm not supposed to have garlic, but I will do it for that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, now you've made me hungry. I got to go off and make myself some dinner. So we're gonna get the hell out of here. But find us on Threads, everybody. Threads.net is the new thing. Threads.net at Dagan SB. Same handle as everywhere. At DAGAN SB. But Threads is the new thing. I don't know what this fucking X shit is. It's I thought that was a different website where I go to look at never mind. But threads.net is where you want to go to follow me there. And then I've been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram. Instagram is kind of my jam now. I'm sort of avoiding X or whatever, Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm trying to avoid that kind of like the plague at this point. But YouTube, obviously a lot of content here on So-Dagan Wrestling, a lot of clips from Blood and Guts. Our vlog is up. Very, very cool stuff there. A lot of views from Blood and Guts, and we got about 10 subscribers from those clips as well. So thank you all, recent subscribers, for that. And on my other channel, on our sister channel here, the Dagan Mall, coming up this week, starting on Friday, I will be doing a bunch of live vlogging from New York City. I'm going to be taking a little vacation and going to some shows, and I have some ideas for some very fun, exciting live streams. I might even go as far as to stream live from the top of the Empire State Building. I was thinking.
Yeah, you're on your own on that one, buddy. no joke. I'm sure the view is beautiful. I'm sure it's worth it, but you couldn't pay me enough.
Afraid of heights. Get the hell out of here.
Incredibly afraid of falling.
Yeah. I don't mind it, honestly. Like, I was watching video earlier of from BTE of Matt Jackson like doing a test run and climbing up the Blood and Guts thing, and he gets to the top. He's like, "Oh my god, it's so high! Like, I'm terrified." I've never really had that fear of heights or anything. Like,
fourth floor and above, I'm bad.
It'd have to be pretty high for me. Top of the Empire State Building's pretty fucking high. Like, even me looking out there is like, whoa.
The tallest I've been on is this Calgary Tower. And the last time I've been on there twice. The last time the glass elevator outdoor glass elevator freaked me the fuck out. And then we get on top, and I'm one of those guys. I was up against the wall, and then my grandpa was on the glass bottom floor pretending to jump. I'm like,
oh my god!
Oh, I couldn't wait to get down to the bottom.
So they the Empire State Building now has, so they have the 86th floor, which is the main observatory that most tourists will go to kind of look and everything and look down. But they've now added, if you want to pay even more money, they've added a observation lounge on the 102nd floor, which is like the very tippity top of the Empire State Building where King Kong was hanging out. And I believe that has one area that has a glass floor.
Whoa. Like, no joke.
I'm making
chills.
Soda's about to puke here live on. He's gonna puke.
Like, no joke. Fucking goosebumps, man.
So I might be daring enough to go all the way up there and do a live stream, which Soda will not be watching. We'll see. We'll see how the Wi-Fi is. We'll see how the Wi-Fi is way the hell up there. But that is the plan right now. I'm going to do some live streams from New York City coming up this week. But any streams or shows that you got coming up, Soda, that you want to hype before we get out of here?
Yeah, just coming up, Fun with Flags over on the Northern Entertainment Group with my buddy 50. This week I actually told him about the Rocket Richard riot from 1955. The famous Canadian hockey riot. So definitely check that out. 50 and I finally recorded the first episode of 50 Shades of the Ring, where we sit down and we watched the match. This one was The Undertaker versus Mankind in the Hell in a Cell. We're actually basically doing our own kind of commentary track over it.
Still one of my favorite matches of all time.
And honestly, no joke, you're right. It is one of the best matches to show someone, to introduce them to wrestling. However, when you're doing it, but you're doing a commentary, it's not the best one to do because you're so engrossed with what happens in the first 10 minutes. You're not really talking much.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think so that'll be up on the channel here soon. But I think the next one after that, we're talking about maybe doing Okada and Ospreay, or Omega Ospreay 1. So that could be fun. And that one I think is like those New Japan matches. You were talking about how Hell in a Cell, like the first 10 minutes, you're so into it that you can barely do any commentary. Yeah. Whereas these matches, these big like New Japan epics, might be a little easier because a lot of times the first few minutes is just them feeling each other out and a lot of like grappling and stuff going on in the ring before it gets real crazy. And usually those matches take a few minutes to get real fucking nuts. So.
That's why the next match we're doing, I'm going to say this live on air, we're doing Brett versus Owen from WrestleMania 10. Right. That exact reason. Because like I said to 50, they're both great matches, but they're for two different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's like we'll start off with the spectacular, and then we're going to go into the technical masterpiece that people still talk about to this day.
Yeah, for sure. So keep an eye out for those guys here on the channel. Appreciate all the support, all the new people tuning into So-Dagan Wrestling. It's really, really fun to see. I think the next like show that I'll be going to, or I'll actually be able to post some clips. I'm trying to think. I think it's the Impact show coming up in September. And then we got Arthur Ashe Stadium a couple weeks later. Yes, hopefully I get tickets. So they go on sale this Thursday. So I'm crossing my fingers I can get some good seats for it. But that being said, everybody, as Soda dies over there in the corner, we will be back next time. I think next week I'm on vacation, so probably 2 weeks from now will be our next show. But appreciate y'all tuning in on the replay. We got some new viewers watching on the replay last week, so we appreciate you there. And until next time, everybody. Cheers. We'll see you.